guess I'll stand in the
Uh,
middle of the room. The light's better.
I know. I've got crazy light today too. All right. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer, for jumping on and joining me today. I am so excited to be able to share your story and your journey so far since we've connected and started to work together. And for those of you that don't know, Jen is a stay-at-home mom. She is a entrepreneur at heart. She's an amazing, beautiful soul. And I don't even know how we connected, but all I know is that divine intervention brought us together. And I have truly had the most amazing experience in time getting to know her and watching her grow and start to transform her life and her business and her relationships and everything. So I'm just going to ask Jennifer a few questions and I'm going to have you tell us your story. So tell us a little bit about like what your life was like before we started working together. What life, personal, business, whatever you feel like sharing.
Well, it's been an interesting journey. I have worked for 3 MLM companies that I had started previous to us meeting. None of them really doing that great. A lot of time, a lot of effort into them, and was really struggling, and that was becoming very defeating. And then being a stay-at-home mom and going into winter was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And major fears with that. And then, of course, not being able to leave our house because we're in the middle of COVID and all that chaos, which of course added to the stress. So yeah, previous to us meeting, it was kind of a hot mess. And then we obviously connected and learned a whole lot about it was my mindset. Thinking about winter and going into it and thinking how awful it was going to be and what are we going to do, and realizing that it really isn't that awful. There's tons of things to do in the house. There's tons of things to keep a 2-year-old active. I just needed to look at it from a different perspective. And the winter has actually went really well so far. And my business adventure has completely changed. I have obviously joined a company that is very focused on mindset, which is a huge part of, I think, my personal growth and why I am where I'm at right now, because that was the piece that was missing. The other companies I had, they were great. They helped me lose a bunch of weight and gave me energy, but they didn't have the mindset piece, which is what I really needed, is to change my inner thinking to change my reality.
Yeah. Yeah. We know that mindset's everything, but we don't exactly know what that means, right? We're like, oh, well, I'm thinking positive, right? I'm speaking positive words, but we can be speaking one thing and feeling a complete different thing, right? Like trying to manifest and trying to create something positive, but on the inside, you're like not feeling it. And that is what really is what creates everything. So, what has shifted since we've started working together? Like how has your inner conversations changed? Like what are you able to see differently? How is this different now?
Well, I think it's funny because when we first met, you had sent me some stuff. You said, look at this and go through this and listen to this. I'm like, yep, I'm totally on board. I'm totally going to do this. And that lasted a week. You touched base again. I'm like, yeah, no, haven't done any of it. You're like, okay, well, let's do this again. So we started over again. Don't know even if the second time I actually followed the rules and did what I was thinking in my head I should be doing, because I had more excuses than I could manage to come up with. So I think the shifting was really doing the hard work, really starting to focus in on what is it I really want, and really listening and learning how to develop into the person that I want to be. Um, I think it's very easy to say, oh, I'm going to listen to this or I'm going to think positive, and until you really start doing the hard work, you don't get there. Um, my why when I started originally I don't know how many months ago, is not really what I wanted. And I didn't realize that at that time because I was giving you a list of things that I wanted and I wanted to achieve, and none of it was really inner self what I wanted. It was what I was visually seeing at that time, realizing that there is more to what life can bring and what we can have in life if we really do the deep dive into what is our inner soul, what is our gift to give, and really looking at the inner part of our soul, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause well, and isn't that the truth? Like we all say that we want something. Oh, I want to change. I want this to be different. I would love this and this and this. And then we keep doing what we're doing and we don't actually have anything changed, right? Because I mean, it's just like the new year. We can say, oh, I want this to be the new year. I want this to be the year that everything changes. But until you go in and like tap into that version of yourself, like that has those changes already, right? And that can connect with those. Like we can't expect something new being the same version of ourselves that we were yesterday, right? Because
Right.
nothing new is going to be created. And so the hard work, it's just that internal work that is just not comfortable, right? Because we are in the habit of being ourselves and thinking the same way that we've always thought. And, like that's where it's hard because we are just in automatic, you know, doing things, thinking things, saying things, responding to things the same way that we always have. And so the hard work is stopping yourself, noticing what you're feeling and thinking, do I want to continue to have this be the same result? Or am I going to make a different choice, respond differently in this moment? Right. And that's why it's hard, is because it's not automatic anymore. Like you're actually having to take a moment back and step and think and feel like, okay, what do I need to shift in order for this to be different? Right. So thankfully it gets easier as we keep going. Right. So what what would you say it's been like to actually work with me? What has your experience been?
Oh, I think it's been fantastic. Obviously, with any personal development, you've got ups and you've got downs and you've got goods and you've got bad days. Knowing that you have somebody that you can say, hey, here's what's going on today, struggling with this, and somebody that really understands what that actually is or how to talk you down per se, because sometimes I can get pretty up in my head. And just knowing that that person's there, because not all of your family and friends are going to understand where you're at in your journey, and they're sure not going to always understand how to talk you um, into a clear head again. And then learning all the techniques that you'll send my direction, and then using them has really helped me to, when stuff is getting hard or getting elevated, then I know how to start getting it down to a better level, using them techniques, which has really, really been helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. So having that accountability, like knowing that you can reach out to someone that is going to guide you and help you like to step into that best space, and being able to have the accountability to actually doing the work, right? Like you said, when we first connected, I gave you some things to do, and then I checked in and you hadn't done them, right? Like, and that's so common for all of us. We are really good at not being accountable to ourselves, but being accountable to other people. So having someone to be accountable to, or just to support you along the journey, makes all the difference, for sure.
Oh, for sure.
What would you say to someone who's thinking about working with me, like, but is on the fence about whether or not to make that investment and time and finances and any part of the journey?
Well, one thing I would say is just do it. As a stay-at-home mom, I have, besides whatever money I have coming in as far as side hustles, I have no income at all. Not supported financially on any of my personal development or my business goals as far as our household. So I took a pretty big leap of faith in investing into myself, which I do not regret whatsoever. Um, I think if there is a will, there is a way. So yes, I would say just do it. Just put money aside and come up with it however you got to do it, if that's a credit card or whatever avenue, and just jump in full force. And then when you start doing it and you realize how much your life is changing and how much better life can be, then you're going to obviously be excited that you took that chance. So yeah, I would not hold back on that. And I could have came up with 1,000 excuses of why not to invest in myself. Like I said, especially having a 2-year-old, having no income, um, and having no way to go make income outside of the house because I'm obviously home with him. So you just got to jump and have faith.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like money is a great measuring tool for like your commitment to yourself, to the change, to and there's going to be a fear before you step into the light, right? Like when you go into that cave, you're like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm going to see. And then you walk in and you see all the amazing crystals and everything on the inside, right? So it's always like when we get up to that point of like, okay, I'm really scared. What if this doesn't work? Or, what we can't see on the other side. Most people bounce back into their comfort zones where nothing changes, right? The only way that we are going to expand and get outside and find growth in our business, in our finances, in our relationships, in our spiritual growth, in any of those areas is to do the scary thing, right? And that's where finances is for most people. Everybody has those money paradigms. And yeah, and when you invest, like Jennifer said, like you never regret it. Like you always grow, you always expand, you always become something, a better version, right? So what do you feel is possible for you now that we've been working together? Like, what do you see?
Oh, I did.
What do you see that you're stepping
Anything.
into? Like, I mean, with
Actually.
a little bit. What are you seeing? What are you seeing in your future?
So, probably the biggest things that I see right now is the um, the goals that I've set for myself. So, a big struggle for me is time management. And having a child at home that is obviously young and needs a lot of attention and stuff that you have to do. So, like having a business and understanding that if I want to do these both, I have to get up earlier, I have to stay up later, and listening to the meditations to go to sleep right away at night, and then having that energy to get up and having the energy to thrive with the business. And I guess the other big thing, probably in my future, would be I've planned 2 pretty big trips. I have no idea how financially we're going to swing either one of them, but we're going and it is going to be amazing. And yeah, that is probably the highlight of our summer is 2 pretty big road trips. So
Yeah.
it's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, and like I can already see and feel your like excitement and energy about it. Whereas before you likely would have like wanted to do it, but then just kind of like, oh, that's never going to happen. I don't know how that's going to happen. And you just sweep it under the rug right away. Right. But when we really say, no, anything is possible and I create my future. And the great thing is like, we don't need to know the how anything is going to happen. We just need to know what we want and be like, have full faith and belief that it's going to come into fruition. And how does do that? It does it by us believing and us taking the actions and us doing the things and showing up in a different way. Right. So what do you see in your future for like opportunities that you are going to be able to do with your family, for you yourself, like how you get to show up and start doing things. Like, what else do you see?
I'm just showing up as a different person in general. One pretty good example is we go to church every Sunday. So we used to, and it's just me and the little one. We'd go to church. My anxiety was through the roof, trying to get him ready, trying to get me ready. And then by the time we got there, I was so exhausted. I thought this would get an hour just to pretty much sleep because I just couldn't do anymore. Now we get up every Sunday. It's just like clockwork. My mentality is not looking into the negative. It's not thinking, oh, how am I going to do this? We just get up, we get ready, we go there, we have a wonderful day. It's literally that mentality piece is huge. And once I learned to get out of my own head and start changing that, my whole environment started changing.
Yeah. Yeah. Because especially kids, like kids and animals are amazing at reflecting back to us the energy that we are giving out, and you could be thinking the greatest, like speaking the greatest things, but feeling and thinking something different, and your kids or your animals are going to pick up on it and they're going to mirror it back to you, right? So just the fact that that transition is so much easier now, right? And you're envisioning great things in your business, and like claiming the freedom that you are desiring to like go and do these trips and take these opportunities, and I mean the growth that I have seen in you is just phenomenal. I'm so excited for what is going to continue to unfold as you continue on your growth journey. So for those of you that are watching, I want you to ask yourself, like, when you think of Jennifer's story, I want you to imagine like what is possible for you. If just changing the way that you're thinking and the way that you are feeling about things and how you see yourself could open up so many doors and so many opportunities and align her with, the right business and the right people, and help just everything in her life to start to click together instead of just feeling like she's locked in a box and can't get out, right? Like, what would it be like to never be afraid to like step out and go and do those things, to not second guess yourself about, or to let go of that anxiety and stress that like hangs on to you, that is literally so draining that you are not thriving in your life, and it seems like everything is challenged. But when you are able to let go of all that, like what would that be like for you? I want you to think about like what your businesses would feel like, and what your finances and relationships would change, like if you changed just some thought patterns and some beliefs about yourself, right? Because it all ripples out from us, and what we receive is what we've been giving out unconsciously, right? So if you would love to have a transformation in your relationships, in your business, in your spiritual life, in your self-love, like in your finances, any of those things, then I want you to book a call with me, and we can talk about where you're at, where you're going, and uncover the mental blocks that you have right now that are keeping you where you are. Because this life is for you to embrace and love and create all the beautiful things in your life, and to have the impact that you want to have. And this year 2023 can be that for you, but you just need to choose to step in and say yes to it. All right, so if you're here, thank you. We love you. Thank you so much for joining us. And feel free to check out Jen and see all the things that she has going on. I'm blown away by this girl and all the reels that she puts up and how she shows up on social media. I'm like, the growth is phenomenal. So I am taking inspiration and learning from her. And if you would like to reach out to her, please do so. If you would like to book a call with me, then say call below. And I just wish you all the best day and the most beautiful abundance this year. And I look forward to connecting with you all soon. Thank you, Jennifer, for
Thank you.
me. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Bye.